He comes from a lineage of great sages, yogis, and saints from India. He began his spiritual journey at the age of 7 and was fully realized by the age of 14. During this time, he delved into different practices and acquired mastery over Tantra, Mantra, Yantra, Aghori practices, and Yaksha sadhana. He was a siddha, and many masters, saints, and sages used to visit him in solitude to gain wisdom and guidance from him since the tender age. Although he has been helping humanity since childhood, he never disclosed this part of him to the world, and only the advanced yogis and masters were aware of his divine presence. Only in the last 2 years he chose few people from the world and started guiding them in their spiritual paths, and those who have been closely associated with him have witnessed many miracles in his presence. Despite being a family person, he is a yogi and intends to help people entangled in this world achieve Jivan Mukti, liberation while being alive. He is truly in the world but not of the world, and if you really want to understand him, look him beyond his physical appearance and just sit with him, and you will never be the same again. In his presence you will transcend your body and mind and experience the state of Sat, absolute truth, Chit, pure consciousness, Ananda, eternal bliss. Let us fold our hands in front of his divinity and with a heart filled with gratitude and love welcome our spiritual guru, the realized soul, and our enlightened master, Guru Manash Mishra.
अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तयेनं चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री सदाशिवाय नमः। पृथ्वी शांति, अंतरिक्ष शांति, सर्वं शांतिः। ओम। अहम ब्रह्मास्मि। Good morning, everyone, and good evening to the people from the other part of the world. Swagat hai sabhi ka. So here we are with a new chapter unfolding. So today we are going to talk about what? The Tandavas of Shiva. So apart from that, today we'll try to cover a few more things. एक तो शिव के तांडव के बारे में बात करेंगे, then we'll speak a little bit about the Chidambara Rahasya, and then we will also do a small little process of Chidambara Rahasya, although not the complete process, but the basic of it. At least one chanting from that mantra, the entire mantra, say ek chanting leke, we'll just do that. And might be during the upcoming events, we will do the complete Chidambara, how to practice that entire yantra. and what kind of mantra should be chanted, how long it should be chanted, how it should be chanted. I'll give you the basics of it today, so that the complete process will be done at a separate date, because it will take the entire day. Means entire session will be dedicated just to do that meditation process. So here we are. So with this, all these things coming into play, are you ready? See, when I say you should be ready, means when we look at the dance of Shiva, when we hear the word Tandava, many people take it as that is the Pralaya Tandava, means the dance which Shiva dances to close down on the creation process, the destruction, the dance of destruction that you can be said. And again, from my life, like I was there and a small little child came to me with a photo of Nataraj and he says, why is Shiva called the god of destruction? And why he dances to destroy everything? And I just simply said, to create. And then he asked, like, how can destruction lead to creation? And to my help, there was a new building coming up in the same place where we were talking. So I showed him, like, can you see this new building coming up? He said, yes. And how's it? Because he used to stay nearby only, so he knows that area very well. So I said, what's coming up? Oh, it's a high-rise building now. Okay. What was there before that? It was a small little broken hut for a long, long time. No one was residing there. It was like somebody has abandoned that place, and it was like a dangerous forest because snakes used to crawl and all those things. I said, what's happening now? He said, a sky-rise building. I said, how did it happen? Then he could not understand. Still a kid. I said, they broke it, right? He said, yes. And they cleared it. Yes. And then, oh, now it's a magnificent building coming out. I said, can you see destruction leads to construction? And then he says, oh, yeah, I now can make it understand. You see, you speak to people as the language they will understand. If I say, oh, you have to destroy your ego, then your Atman arises. And he says, what? So, similarly, when I say the Tandava should happen, today we are going to talk about 12 types of it. And when you heard of 12 and your eyebrows went up, there are not 12, there are 64. But the sad part is only 12 are available. But the good part is 64 is available with us and nowhere else. The reason being, the first 12 are in the form that you can physically see the images of Shiva dancing in that way. The 12 means there are statues, there are reference points where you can see that. From 12 to 32, that is something that you can only experience in your mind or through your transcendental mind. That's from 12 to 32. From 32 to 64, neither you have an image of it, neither you can imagine it. But you can become that. And that step from 32 to 64 can only be danced. Means when you dance, you will experience that you are dancing within you. That becomes the last 31 steps of it. But in order to travel to that part, first and foremost thing, we should understand a little bit about the dances. And Haribhai will try to inculcate some of these moves into that, so that people at least realize what a Tandava should be and how it feels like. And more than that, as I said, like if you are in spirituality, how many of you cannot dance? Now, some people are really thinking, ticking their names. Oh, me. See, whether you like it or not, you are dancing. Some people are dancing to the tunes of other people. Some people are dancing because somebody else is making them dance out there. But all the things that when people say they cannot dance, then you are to understand one thing, whether you like it or not, your breath is a dance. Your heartbeat is a dance. The entire rhythm of your body through which the universe, the cosmos is running, it's all dance. Because everything has a rhythm to it. And that's what you call as a vibration. And that vibration has a particular frequency, and that frequency is moving in a particular way. That's why it's a rhythm. And because of that rhythm, everything is in place. When you see a particular kind of atom, like whether it is of a wood or a steel or a human body, everything is vibrating at a different way, but it is maintaining its shape and size, because of which iron remains a iron, a wood remains a wood. But when it comes to the tantric alchemy, what they do is they transform that atomic level. So what happens? Iron becomes a wood becomes a food, and that's how they can change. So let's not go there. Let's stay here with you. Whether you like it or not, you still dance. So when we think of Tandava, the one image that comes in front of us is the image of Nataraj. So when you see the image of Nataraja, it has a very, very typical indications in that. Many people have, like, there are millions of things written about that on the internet now. So just the few basic things, if Haribhai can put forth a dancing pose, so we can just elaborately tell you a little bit about that, and then we'll move on. Because here we have to understand the entire philosophy behind this statue that has been created. And you see, in all our Vedic culture, everything that was created or imagined has a scientific background to that. Now, if you look at this image of Shiva, the first and foremost thing, if you look down from the down below, it has an altar on which there is a lotus flower. That lotus flower indicates that this is how the world has a vivid range of variety to it, as the lotus has many petals to that. It is coming with a vivid range of attributes to that. Yet you can go beyond it. And then if you go above that, you see a small little demon, Apasmara. What you call as Apasmara, or the Asura's name was Apasmara. It has a long story behind that. Like he has gotten boon and he used to trouble everyone, and then finally Shiva appears with a damru in his hand, and when he starts doing, like, jab damru bajana shuru karte hain, then he could not listen anything and he falls down, and on that Shiva stands. But what is Apasmara? The meaning Apasmara comes from the opposite word called as smarana. Smarana means knowledge, knowing. Apasmara means ignorance, when you forget. So the boon that this Apasmara had was, when he goes and he makes dances or makes sounds, the person in front of him will forget everything. Oh, bismit kar deta tha. It will lead you to ignorance. You see, it is a midget. It's a small little thing. But wo aapko hamesha ignorance mein dhakel deta tha. It will take you to that state of Apasmara. Now, in this, when you are looking at that small little midget demon, it would be holding a snake in his hand. Now, one snake is in Shiva's hand, one snake is in Apasmara's hand. What does that mean? When we look at Apasmara, if you see that his hand, actually there is a snake which is not very clearly depicted in this image, but there is. And what it depicts is very, very important to understand. See, when you look at a snake, it crawls on the ground, right? It crawls on the ground and feeds on, we know all that it eats rats and all that. And at the same time, it spits poison. So now you have to understand something. When I look at a snake and when I look at a person who is too much into the worldly things, is it not like the same thing? Because the snake is crawling on its belly on the earth, means it is so much connected to the worldly things. That's how it indicates. So if you continue to crawl in this world on your belly, means सिर्फ खाने पीने के लिए और रहन सहन के लिए, means if you only dedicate your life for the worldly things, just to live a life of food, clothing and shelter, not beyond that, you are only crawling on this ground and feeding with dust. क्या हाथ लगेगा? खाक, because that's what you will turn after you are burnt. So if you are crawling like a snake on your belly on these worldly things, all that you will get is soil, and all that you will speak is poison. It is one snake. But the other snake is in the hands of Shiva. It is also the snake. But what it is happening here, what is the difference between this snake that is in the hands of Apasmara because of ignorance? The people, those who are crawling in these worldly things, they are still with the demon. But when that same snake is in the hands of Shiva, what does that indicate? It indicates the way out of ignorance. Means earlier it was crawling on the earth, now it is sitting on the Brahman. Because Shiva is pure bliss, pure knowledge. So when it moved from the worldly things to Shiva, you see, it is always, again, its face is up, its hood is on, yet it is not spitting poison. Why? Because when it transcended from just the worldly things to the Shiva, its poisonous state disappeared, because that poison was nothing else but ignorance. And now, with its complete entire bliss of Shiva, it also starts moving, dancing along with Shiva. And that's what happens to a person who moves from this worldly state to the state of Shiva. So again, if you look at the image, there is an entire cycle or a circle around it that indicates different, like it's like the circle of life and death, the circle of yugas. So it indicates the circle of yugas as well as the circle of life. Now, when you look at one, the left hand of Shiva, in which he is holding the fire, that fire is the fire which has the entire knowledge of creation, because without fire you cannot create, and the fire of destruction. Because you remember Shiva's quality that I lastly said in the Wednesday session, he is free. वो मुक्त है. He has a free will to do whatever he wants, and he is the dancer and he is the destroyer at the same time. And when he is holding that fire, that indicates that this fire can be the fire of light that will discard your darkness of ignorance. And this is also the fire that can burn down all your past karmas. And this is also the fire that can destroy what is not needed to create something new. So the fire of creation and destruction at the same time. You see, it is holding in its left hand. And when we talk about the left hand of fire, we also talk about the left hand of God, जिसे वाम मार्ग कहते हैं. What is वाम मार्ग? It is also indicating the same thing. That वाम मार्ग, if utilized in the right way, can lead you to liberation, and if it is utilized in the wrong way, it will burn you down. That's the indication why it is holding the fire in the left hand, not in the right hand. Now going back to the image again, Haribhai, if you can just put it there. Now you look at his right hand, upper hand, it would be in the Abhaya Mudra. What is Abhaya Mudra? Abhaya Mudra means, despite you look at me like I'm dancing, there is fire all around me, and I'm holding a snake in my hand, and there is all the things, yet I hold that you did not fear about it. Usse kehte Abhaya. Means the one, it does not mean you don't have a fear. Abhaya means the one who has transcended the fear itself. The Abhaya Mudra. That even though if you look at me, the fearsome way I look, I'm dancing, my matted hair, I'm just like, the fire is all around, the snake is there, just like your life. But don't fear. You have to be. That is the assurance that Shiva gives you. The assurance says, be Abhaya, that whatever happens in your life, stay strong in that part. And now when you look at the left hand, the right hand, upper side, there you will see it is holding the Damru. What is Damru? The Damru indicates that the rhythm of time and space. Because when is beating it, dum, 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 dum. So it is creating that vibration. That vibration is the pranava that creates the omkara. And from that omkara, the srishti has come into play. So Damru has two facets indicating time and space. And when Shiva is holding that, he is playing with time and space. That means when you reach out to the Shiva, the time and space won't have any impact on you. And then it also says, look at the entire fire going all around, the problems that you see, yet you can still dance on that. And then you look at the left hand down, it is showing in a particular way, his hand. Many people say that it is indicating the hand towards his leg. But it is not just the hand towards his leg, but if you look at the hand very carefully, it is just the elephant mudra. The mudra of Ganapati, Ganesha. The Gaja Mudra. You see, it's just like a face and the trunk going down. It indicates that when you have the knowledge, true knowledge, like Ganapati, then you look at the leg, what is happening. One leg is destroying the ignorance, still grounded on this world, means despite you being in the world, still the ignorance can be under your feet. And when the left leg that is in the midair, it says, and you can still transcend the world and be free. And here, look at his jata that is open. And there you can see the image of Ganga. And that says that you should be so calm and quiet. You should be serene. And your mind should be filled with so much of beautiful thoughts that whoever comes and sits by your side, it feels liberated. That's like taking a bath in Ganges. Ganga mein snan kare. And the matted locks, it indicates that when this matted locks, you look at it, a yogi should be like that. He should be able to hold the knowledge of the cosmos within itself. That's why it is matted, so that it does not just flow off. It gets entangled in that and stays there. And at the same time, you see, look at his face. He neither looks a male, neither looks a female. His posture, you see, if you look at the dance, it looks like a Ardhanarishwara. And it also indicates that when you are dancing, right, he has lifted his left leg up. Left leg indicates Ida. The right leg indicates Pingala. That means when you are dancing, the Ida Nadi should go up, means you should be so happy within that you are dancing. And that's how this small little image talks about so many things. But this is just a basic knowledge, means what you can see. That's what I told. But there are many hidden things that are not told, that can only be experienced. So when we talk about the Tandava, we understood the small little image of, which is really huge. So what does this Tandava of Shiva indicates? As we said, like it indicates many things, such as the cosmic creation and destruction that we discussed. First and foremost thing that it does is the creation and destruction. It also indicates the eternal cycle of creation, preservation, and destruction of the universe. And that's what the concept that we speak of. We speak of Brahman, the one that created everything, and Rudra, that destroys everything. Then it also indicates, the Tandava indicates 3 specific rhythms, which is known as the Nada, Laya, and Rasa. This rhythmic movements, if you have been trained on classical singing or dancing, you should know all these things. Naad kya hai, lay kya hai, ras kya hai. So when you know all these things, you know to dance very well. So these 3 rhythmic movements, that is Nada, Laya, and Rasa, these comprise, it is said that the sound produced during this dance, the concept of Nada, Laya, and Rasa, originated from the dance of Shiva. And then you see Shiva is standing on one leg, the one leg is in the midair, and yet it is balanced. And that indicates balance and harmony. It portrays the delicate balance between the opposing forces of creation and destruction. If you see, there is fireball all around, there is a snake, there is a demon below, and yet Shiva is dancing. And that's what we call as the balance or the harmony, and the perfect harmony despite constant change and transformation of this world. Then destruction of avidya, or destruction of ignorance. Tandava is also seen as the dance of destroying the ignorance, because that's what we talked about apasmara. This destructive aspect of the dance symbolizes the elimination of ignorance, illusion, that is Maya, and ego, leading to spiritual awakening and enlightenment. Now, just by doing this dance, if it is eliminating your ignorance, illusion, and ego, how many of you would like to dance? Now, if you dance and if all these things happen, then why should you not dance? Right? But don't worry, we'll make you dance anyways. So now coming to the next aspect of Shiva. Through this, when we look at this posture of Nataraj or the Tandava, it also depicts the 5 actions or the 5 acts of Shiva. It is this dance of Nataraj is also known as the Panchakritya. Panchakritya means the 5 acts of Shiva. The 5 acts of Shiva are creation, preservation, destruction, veiling, and grace. Panchakritya Shiv ke kya ho gaya? Creation, rachna, preservation, to make it, to usko rakhne ke liye, to preserve it, destruction, to destroy that part, veiling, avaran, and then grace, means the grace of Shiva. So these are the 5 actions that you see in that one statue while he is doing the Tandava. So usne srishti karne ka rasta dikha raha hai usme, that is the fire that is holding. Then preservation, he is sustenance. And then the destruction, he's standing on Apasmara. Then wailing, despite you looking at it, you won't understand anything. That's the wailing part of it. And grace, and he still says you can still understand everything. So these are the 5 acts of Shiva. And each of these acts that depict this also indicates the cosmic cycle. And the dance embodies the transition between them. जैसे मैंने कहा कि वो जो fire that is around it, it is also talking about creation, means birth and death, the cycle of birth and death, as well as the yugas. That's what it indicates, that it is ever changing. And this is changing through the 5 acts of Shiva. Then when it comes to the next point that would like to, when you look at the image of Nataraja, it's the control over emotions. Shiva's Tandava absolutely reflects the mastery over his emotions. It teaches us controlling one's emotions, desires, and attain spiritual enlightenment. कि अगर आपने अपने विचारों के ऊपर और अगर आपने अपने इमोशंस के ऊपर कंट्रोल कर लिया, you can still dance while despite being in the mid of this world. It also indicates one part of yoga and meditation, because this dance serves as a symbol of yoga. Because if you see the posture, it is standing in a particular posture. It's a way that it is saying like it is a yoga. But if you look at its face, its eyes are closed. It says that it indicates the meditation. Shiva's posture in dance with one foot lifted above represents the elevation of the soul through meditation and the connection between the physical and spiritual realms. जब शिव अपने पैर, एक पैर को ऊपर उठा के रखते हैं, उसका इंडिकेशन यही है that the elevation of the soul, just like I said, the snake, right? The elevation of the soul through meditation and connection between the physical and the spiritual realm. Despite one leg is still connected to this earth, the other leg is lifted in the air. That's what it indicates, that you should be realizing that despite you being in this world, liberation is possible. And then when you look at the Tandava again, as I said, it looks like a feminine and a masculine at the same time. That indicates the union of the opposite. The union of the opposite of Ida and Pingala, life and death, creation and destruction, male and female, all that you call as duality is indicated in the same form. Then it also indicates the art and spirituality. If you look at it, it is still decorated at many places as an art piece. The dance of Nataraja embodiment, the idea that art and spirituality are interconnected. And that's where I said, if you know how to dance, if you know how to sing, if you know the rhythm, it is a part and parcel of spirituality. And this image of Shiva highlights the creative and expressive aspects of spirituality, emphasizing the artistic expression can also be a path to divine realization. So you should dance now. The last thing that you can also, it's not just the last thing, just in my points, it is the last thing. It's the cyclic nature of time. When you look at that, the dance also signifies the cyclic nature of time, where the universe goes through endless cycles of birth and rebirth. Shiva's dance reminds us that time is eternal and boundless, and yet you can be free if you understand the Tandava of Shiva. So as per me, the Tandava of Shiva is a multifaceted symbol of cosmic order, spirituality, self-realization, and profound interconnectedness of the physical and metaphysical realms. The Tandava has deep philosophical as well as spiritual concepts ingrained in it. And as a seeker of truth and an artist who has devoted himself completely, will find its way to Shiva and to the way to its liberation. And that's where the indication comes and what you should learn when you look at the image of Shiva as a Nataraja. Kuch samajh mein aaya? Did you understood something? So from here on, when you just look at the image of Nataraj, it is not a showpiece. It is a reminder for all of us. A reminder that it has actually encompassed everything in one image. So when you look at that, now you have an understanding, a deeper understanding that. So can you see what you thought just by looking at the image of Shiva? It was out of just ignorance. Wo Tandav kar rahe. No, behind that Tandav, how many things can be hidden? So when you are looking at that, what is happening is you are bringing your ignorance down. And now you are standing on one leg. And now you can also realize that how, despite being in this world, you can still be happy and still be dancing. Because the one who understands the world as Maya, the one who understands that ignorance is the only thing that is doing all these rounds around. And if you just transcend beyond that, you can be absolutely blissful, happy. So Haribhai has put forth a question, can we keep Nataraj statue at home? Absolutely, by knowing all this, you should. You can. Because or else it just becomes another showpiece in your house. But if you realize that, Haribhai, and then what I'm going to teach you as the Chidambara Rahasya, like the way of meditating on that. If you understand that part and if you just keep a statue of Shiva there in the form of Nataraj, and then you start meditating on all the elements because it has all the 5 elements in it. The Panch Kriti nahi hai, Panch Tattva bhi usi ke andar dikhai dega when you start meditating on that. In his hand there is fire or not. In his jata there is water or not. Where he is standing? He is standing in the space. Where he is standing on the ground. And what it is surrounded by air and space. All the 5 elements are also indicated in that. And when you start doing the Rahasya process, it is again like, is a very typical understanding, like how actually the yantra is made for Chidambar. So that is very typical thing to understand. As the Sri Yantra is said, the king of all yantras, similarly, this Rahasyam, the meditation that is done, is also called as the king of meditation. Because people, those who have understood it properly, if you do that one also, it is really amazing. And anyways, we'll do a little bit of that. So anyway, when you can keep that image, you can use that image as a place of sadhana. You can keep that statue at your home as a reminder that despite I roaming in this house, despite I roaming in this world, still I should not forget what is my ultimate goal. And despite all the problems in your life, you still should know how to dance. You should still have that, you should not lose that rhythm. You should not be spitting poison. You should not be crawling on the ground, eating dust. You should rise above. Even though a snake, still absolutely stable with the Brahman. And then you become the ornament of the Brahman, not a crawler of this world. Make sense? अब समझने के बाद अगर रखना है घर में, रख लो. It should be like a reminder to you. That's it. Because it is not all that we have, it's all that we do with it. इसे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता आपके पास क्या है, आप उसे क्या करते हो उससे फर्क पड़ेगा. So now today I said you should have a Nataraj, so everybody goes and buys it. No, it's not about that. It's about, if you really want a reminder for yourself, keep it. And at the same time, when I'm going to anyways talk more about the temple of Chidambara, a little bit more about that, then you will understand how beautifully that temple has been consecrated. The secrets that it has is enormous. It has been absolutely consecrated as a human. ये एक इकलौता मंदिर है हरि भाई. This is the only temple that has been consecrated as a human. It has 9 doors. मनुष्य के शरीर में भी 9 रास्ते हैं. So everything in that has been depicted in that way. There is a heart. उस heart में एक particular deity को रखा गया है. It has 9 on the Gopura. There are 9 pots on that. जो कलश कहते हो आप. It indicates the Norus of your life. And then it has the 7 chakras in it. And then it has 72,000 nails. That indicates the 72,000 nadiya jo hai aapke andar. So it is a purely consecrated as a alive human being, that entire temple. So sometimes we'll visit that. It is in the state like Tamil Nadu mein hi hai, Chidambaram. Sometimes we'll visit that, then I will explain you the entire design of that temple someday. Okay. So now we are coming back again to the Tandavas. So Preeti ji कहते हैं पहला एक तांडव तो समझ में आ गया, 12 तांडव क्या है? So what are the 12 different Tandavas that Shiva has done, and that is actually available in figures. And every Tandava has a story to it. Very, very typical story, very, very peculiar ones. Some stories are like mind-boggling. वो कहानी सुन के आपको यकीन नहीं होगा ये शिव है क्या? No, वो ही शिव है क्योंकि वो स्वतंत्र है. जो शिव स्वतंत्र है वो भगवान भी बन जाता है, वो भिखारी भी बन जाता है. That is where these 12 ways of Tandavas indicate. And that is where also you see yourself, that how a particular human being becomes a king, and the same human being becomes a beggar. A same human being becomes a god. The same human becomes a demon. It is so amazingly depicted. And that's what, let's understand the 12 forms of dance. The first dance that you saw that Shiva was doing, it is not just called as a, many people think it is, Shiva is doing the Tandav of destruction. It is not the Tandav of destruction. वो आनंद तांडव है. You see, is there any trace of stringency or strain on his face? No, he's dancing out of ecstasy. You see, he's dancing so well that his jata has opened up. That's what you say, no, let your hair down and dance. That's what they say, that you are so happy, you are so absolutely in that bliss that you are just dancing without thinking anything else. उसे कहते हैं आनंद तांडव. Means the तांडव that you have seen as a Nataraja. In this form, Lord Shiva is performing a joyful dance of creation and destruction. You see, this destruction is also he's doing out of joy. And it is symbolizing the cycle of life and death. So that Tandava that we saw was the Ananda Tandava. Now the second Tandav that comes is the Rudra Tandava. Rudra Tandav signifies the destructive aspect of Shiva. Now you see, one aspect we talked is that Shiva is all blissful, all happy. He's doing the Ananda Tandava. But the next thing that you hear is the Rudra Tandava, the Tandava of destruction. You saw like when Sati was burned, like Sati jumped into the fire. After that, Shiva also did another Tandava. That Tandava was the Rudra Tandava, means the destruction of everything. And it is actually unrevealing the wrath of Shiva, means the, what do you call, is the anger of Shiva. Can you see? One way he is all blissful, the other way it is all angry. Now sometimes you are also sitting happily, meditating, dancing. Anand Tandav chal raha hai. What is going right now? And then at times you become angry. And then you start dancing. And you spit fire. What is that? It is Rudra Tandava. So can you see, whether you are angry or happy, you are still Shiva. Many people ask me, oh, I'm angry, too angry. How can I be Shiva? No, you see, Shiva's aspect is also that. All that is, if you forget in your anger that you are Shiva, then you are becoming a human again. You are controlled by the apasmara. But if you remember that despite this anger, I am the watching person behind it, the person who is observing that, then you will find your solace. Despite that anger, you will be free of that anger. So the second one is the Rudra Tandava. Then comes the third kind of Tandava known as the Tripura Tandava. Tripura Tandava means when Shiva dances, especially when the demons appear and they take over the three bhuvanas. Three bhuvanas means the three puras, the three cities. As you chant in Gayatri Mantra, Bhur Bhuva Swaha. So when the demons take over that, Shiva does a particular kind of Tandava to win over the control back. And that Tandava is called as the Tripura Tandava. Here, Shiva is depicted as the conqueror of the three cities, the winner, the king of three cities in this form. And it also symbolizes the triumph over the worldly illusions. Maya ke upar Vijay. Then the next Tandava that you come across is the Sandhya Tandava. The Sandhya Tandava represents the evening, the dance of Shiva, marking the transition from day to night, the transition from duality to reality, the transition from ignorance to bliss. And that state in between, just like the evening is a state between the day and night, Shiva dances as the thin line between the day and night, the thin line between the ignorance and bliss. And that Tandava, when Shiva does that Tandava, it is known as the Sandhya Tandava. Then comes the Gauri Tandava. The Gauri Tandava indicates the divine couple, means Lord Shiva and Goddess Parvati. When they start dancing together, it is known as the Gauri Tandava. Many of you might have seen in these serials that we come up here, especially in Devo Ke Dev Mahadev, once Parvati, like once Sati started dancing, then Shiva appeared, Shiva danced with her, and at that time, it is again like the same thing, like a Gauri Tandava. Then there is another called as the Urdhva Tandava. Urdhva Tandava means, if you look at that dance of Shiva, in that his hands are raised above, uske haath upar ki taraf hai. This indicates signifying the connection to the cosmos. It's just like when you are dancing, especially you might have seen the people, those who chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. What do they do? The moment they start dancing, automatically their hands go upwards. Why? Why does the hand goes upward? आप अगर सच में नृत्य कर रहे हो, आप कोई भी एक ऐसे मंत्र के ऊपर या ऐसे कोई भी चैंटिंग के ऊपर या तो भगवत नाम के ऊपर कोई भी जितने भी सॉन्ग्स हैं या तो जो भी प्रेयर्स हैं, अगर वो रिदमिक वे में चल रहा है और आप उसके साथ नृत्य कर रहे हो, आपके हाथ अपने आप ऊपर उठ जाते हैं. How many of you realize that? What happens is that indicates something that this physical body is part of this world, yet it connects with the cosmos. It connects with the divine. It connects. That's how your hands go up in the air. Especially, absolutely, धवल जी, कीर्तन करते हुए, जब आप कीर्तन करते हो, आपके हाथ अपने आप ऊपर चले जाते हैं. अगर आप वृंदावन गए, आपके हाथ ऊपर ही रहेंगे. Why? Because this body is no more able to just hold itself here on the ground. It says, अब उठा ले, अब ले ले, अब चला. Now I go. I'm ready to go. Just embrace me, take me, pull me up. And that's where your hands go up. That creates a connection between this body and the divinity. उसे कहते हैं ऊर्ध्व तांडव. And at the same time, you might have seen in certain practices, very, very tough yogic practices, people stand with both the hands up in the air in the folded structure, standing on one leg. That also indicates the same thing. It indicates the urdhva tandava. और urdhva tandava mudra में खड़े रहते हैं वो. They make it so intense that I just stand on one leg because I have to be in this body and this world. So I'm standing on one leg. The other leg is lifted up. It is going towards you. And my hand is the connection between you and me. And again, another one important thing that you see, they keep their hands above their head. They create a triangle with their hands, a yantra. और जो ऊर्ध्व यंत्र होता है, ऊर्ध्व यंत्र मेल एनर्जी के ऊपर या तो शिव को दर्शाता है. It indicates Shiva, means the indication like upwards, like I now hold my hands or I just invite your energy to me. कहाँ रखता है? अपने सर के ऊपर, ब्रह्मरंध्र के ऊपर उसका ज्ञान आ जाए. The true knowledge of Shiva entering into the Brahmarandra. What will happen? Shiva will destroy Brahma anyways, means Brahma ya to Brahma. And then it breaks the Brahmarandra. That's how the Sahasrars awakes. So that is called as the Urdhava Tandava. The next comes the Lalita Tandava. This is a very, very graceful dance of Shiva. This, when Shiva dances in this way, we all have done this Tripura Sundari, right? Shiva actually becomes like her when he dances in this avatar. He becomes absolutely purely beautiful, graceful. Now think of Shiva looking like a female and dancing. If you have heard of Mohini, then you should see Shiva. अगर विष्णु का एक अवतार है, मोहिनी का, शिव का भी एक, when he dances like the Lalita Tandav जब करते हैं, he is absolutely graceful and represents beauty and elegance. Now think of Shiva depicting beauty and elegance. Can you see? Absolutely opposite to Shiva. Yet he can be both. Why? क्योंकि वो स्वतंत्र है. He is free to do anything that he wants. So can you see? He is the fearsome and yet the most subtle. And then he does another. When I told you about the Lalita Tandava, he's all beauty, all elegance. The next Tandava he does is the Kala Tandava. This dance of Shiva makes him or showcases him as the master or the lord of time. This also illustrates his role in the passage of time and the universe's eventual dissolution into him. Means in this particular dance, what he does is he starts with a form. He starts dancing, and it dances in such a very fast rhythm that it just looks like a circle and it moves much more faster. It just vanishes. You see, certain things are moving so fast that you cannot see. I went to a science park in my childhood, and there used to be a plate. And when you rotate a handle, it starts rotating. Okay. On one side, there was a parrot, image of a parrot. On the other side, there was an image of a cage. The parrot is not in the cage. But when I started rotating that, it started revolving in such a way, it started looking like as if the parrot is in the cage. Similarly, मुझे कभी कभी जब इस पृथ्वी को देखता हूं, लोग मुझे पूछते पृथ्वी घूमती क्यों है, मैं so that the illusion is created. That no one is caged anywhere, but it is revolving in such a pace that it looks like as if you are stuck. शायद इसीलिए घुमा के छोड़ दिया गया है आपको, so that you keep on rotating in this illusion. But that is where Shiva dances and does the Kala Tandava. He says, remember this illusion, come out of it. And then comes his next one. When you said you don't know the dance, this will tell that you actually know how to dance. His Nitya Tandava, the eternal existential dance of Lord Shiva, which symbolizes the continuity of creation, preservation, and destruction. Just look at your own self. Every single day, your rhythm of breath is coming in, going out. Coming in, going out. Coming in, going out. Is it not happening daily? What does Nitya means? Nitya means every moment, every day. So every moment, that is a rhythm of your breath going in and out. Is it not like a dance? It is absolutely like a dance. So Shiva's Nitya Tandava means in every cell, in every atom, that dance is happening. And that dance of Shiva is known as the Nitya Tandava. Now there comes another called as the Vikshatana Tandava. A very, very typical story for this. So someday I will elaborately tell you about the Vikshatana Tandava, where Shiva becomes a beggar. Now, the king of all kings, now dancing like a beggar. Vikshatana Tandava. So here Shiva is dancing as an ascetic, as a beggar. And it has a very, very elaborated story, and another, like, it is mentioned in around 6 or 7 Puranas about this particular. And everything talks about a very, very different way of it. So the Vikshatana Tandava, Lord Shiva is dressed as a wandering ascetic. And he performs this dance to test the devotion of the sages and the devotees. क्या कर रहा है? ये बहुत dangerous है. This is very dangerous, because this is a place where Shiva appears in a very, very typical way in front of you to test you. You see, Vikshatana, I said, it becomes like a beggar. How many of you have seen a beggar? How many of you seen it in your mind? You see, when I'm talking about this Vikshatana, I will elaborate a little bit about your mind. Many people get worried about their thoughts. Many people are carried away by their emotions. Many people are not troubled by others, but by their own selves. But can you understand this through this? That this mind, which is also Shiva, because if everything is Shiva, this mind could also be Shiva. And what does that mind is doing to you? It is appearing as a beggar in front of you dancing. And how do you feel with that? You feel, oh my God, why I'm so worried? Why I'm so much of tense? Why this is happening to me? Why that is not happening to them? Can you see? Can it be Shiva trying to test you? Appearing as an ascetic, appearing as a beggar, appearing as if he does not have power, appearing just in front of you, making you worried, illusion, drawing you somewhere else, taking you away to other places, and creating that avarana means creating that veil to forget you. What is that? When you look at this Vikshatana, Tandava, you should remember your mind, your thoughts. And if you realize that even in your most worrisome times and most trivial situations, you can still see Shiva dancing or doing the Tandava in your head as the Vikshatana Tandava. Now, what are your worries? Your worries will remain a worry, your thoughts will remain a thought until you realize that it can be Shiva. How it can be Shiva? Because he is all free to become whatever he wants to become. Now you remember last Wednesday I was saying how to stop these thoughts. No. You don't have to stop your thought. Realize that your thoughts are Shiva itself. अब मेरे सारे विचार भी तू ही बन जा. Means now I realize that even the deepest part of it, even the most exciting part of my thoughts and most depressive part of the thoughts is all you. Can you see how beautifully everything has been culminated into such a beautiful way of understanding? Everything that deludes you can also take you to liberation. Everything that hides you inside darkness can also be the source to take you to the light. So what are your thoughts? Who is dancing in your thoughts? Who is making you feel powerless? Is it really making you feel powerless, or it wants you to realize your power? That's why it is acting in that particular manner. Sometimes it appears as a person in your life. Look at it. Look at it. Has Shiva come to test me today? Somebody told very bad about you. Look at it. क्या आज वो भिक्षाटन तांडव कर रहा है? Now, if you start seeing his dance in everything, what will happen? Everything becomes a dance. And then you realize that all that is happening around me, then you say, okay, I'm ready for the test. Come. But the best part of the test is, it will also bless you. It will also bless you with its grace. So the तांडव आपके अंदर चल रहा है ना, कौन सा तांडव चल रहा है? See, it can be the Ananda Tandava. You are all blissful. Or it can be the Vikshatana Tandava. And the story of Vikshatana Tandava is very, very peculiar. So I'll talk about that someday. Then comes the Bhairava Tandava. A fierce and terrifying form of Lord Shiva that embodies his role as the destroyer. But again, the destroyer of ignorance and ego. उसे कहते हैं Bhairava Tandava. This is the 11th Tandava of Shiva. And the 12th Tandava of Shiva is called the Pashupati Tandava. Lord Shiva is depicted as the Lord of all creatures, of all creation, of all form. It emphasizes his role as the protector of all beings. You see, it is the destroyer and it is the protector. Now, all that I told you about the different kind of Tandavas of Shiva, have you all experienced it or not? I will just read the names now, and now you take a moment, just close your eyes and see if you all have done this or not. क्या आपने ये सारे चीजें किए हैं या नहीं किए, अभी आपको पता चल जाएगा. द फर्स्ट इज द आनंद तांडव. हैव यू फेल्ट द एक्सपीरियंस द ब्लिस और नॉट? अभी जो आंख बंद करके ऐसे ऐसे हो रहे हो ना, सर हिला रहे हो, आपको लगा कितनी शांति है. And that's what it is, the Ananda Tandava. The next one is the Rudra Tandava, the wrath of Shiva. कभी कभी बोलता आज बताता हूं क्या हूं मैं, तू नहीं जानता मैं कौन हूं. And show, let me show you who I am. What do you do with that? You showcase your power. Have you done that or not? Then comes the Tripura Tandava. Means today you woke up with a great idea. Now I'm going to become this. I'm going to conquer everything. Tripura Tandava. One fine day, just Chidvilas wake up and say, now I'm going to conquer the world. Today is my day. What is that? Then comes the Sandhya Tandava. Means the feeling of now I can see that I am transforming from this human experience to the divine experience. Then comes the Gauri Tandava, the dance again of the couple. Means the feminine energy, the masculine energy within me, the Ida and the Pingala, when they connect together and the Sushumna awakes, that is called as the Gauri Tandava. Then the Urdhva Tandava. I said, oh, today I'm going to transcend everything and just merge with the divine. आज और कुछ नहीं चाहिए मुझे, मुझे एक ही चीज चाहिए. I'm going to merge into the divine. That's what all I need. Urdhva Tandava. Then called as the Lalita Tandava. You are all blissful, graceful, elegant. You have dressed yourself so well today. You wanted to look your best. And when you are standing in front of the mirror, your mirror is saying, wow, no one in this world has ever been beautiful as you. And then you see yourself as gracefully designed. देखो हमको देखो चद्दर वदर डाल के बैठे gracefully. What is that? That is the Tripura Tandava. Sorry, Lalita Tandava. And then comes the Kala Tandava. Now you realize that all is ignorance and this time and all this world is drama. Then you do another kind of Tandava within yourself. Means you try to control your mind. That is called as the Kala Tandava. And every day anyways, you are doing the Nitya Tandava. Then I told you about the Vikshātana Tandava, then the Bhairava Tandava and the Pashupati Tandava. Let me tell you one particular secret. You can open your eyes now. There are certain yogic practices. You have seen the image of Kala Bhairava or even Batuk Bhairava, right? There is one animal that walks along with them. What is that? Dog, right? Swan. Sanskrit में उसे swan कहते हैं. Even Dattatreya Mahaprabhu, he also carries the same. You know what is that indication of that? Again, a secret. One typical thing, many people will think, oh my God, is this a requirement? You see, the indication is in these entire depiction in earlier times, before they teach you anything of related to the Tantra Marga or the Marga of the Siddhas or the Aghora or Guru Parampara, Rahasya Parampara, ये सारे परंपराओं का शिक्षा देने से पहले they would just ask you to sit or just walk into a forest. ठीक है, कहीं जंगल में चल के जाने के लिए तो कहीं बैठने के लिए बोलेंगे. And they will only observe one thing. And they will only observe if a dog is coming near you or not. If a dog comes near you, that means now you are ready for the sadhana. Why is it so? See, dogs are very, very sensitive. Have you noticed this? I'm not talking about the dogs that you have at homes. I'm asking about the stray dogs. आप रास्ते में जा रहे हो. If a group of people are going, you will see that the dogs don't go to everyone. तो सबके पास नहीं जाते हैं, वो पर्टिकुलर लोगों के पास जाते हैं. Why? Have you noticed this? That we are all going in a group, but the dogs are only following somebody, not me. Because of their sensitiveness. Because of their sensitiveness, वो कहते हैं ना कि the dog knows when the death is coming for somebody and they start crying in the night. उन्हें पता चल जाता है कि the god of death is around, somebody is going to die, so they can depict that and they start crying. They also say, oh, they are shouting because they saw the ghost. Because ये माना जाता है कि उनके पास वो शक्ति बहुत ज्यादा है. So when they come near you, that means you have purified yourself in a certain fashion, in a certain way, in a certain manner. आप में ऐसी शुद्धता आ चुकी है कि उसे पता चल चुका है, and it just comes to you. And you see, this is where it is also another depiction why they carry dogs along with them. कि वो आपको शिक्षा देने से पहले ये देखेंगे, are you ready for that or not? Means even an animal should know that you are purified. Not just a human. कि लोगों को बोल के तो आप बहुत मतलब कपड़े बदल सकते हो, विचारों से अच्छे अच्छे बातें कर सकते हो, कहानियां बहुत अच्छे बोल सकते हो. When you do all that, it can be a drama because you are just portraying it. But if an animal understands that, it cannot be a portrayal. वो शुद्धता, वो चैतन्यता अगर आपके अंतरात्मा में उतर चुकी है, तभी वो जानवर आपके करीब आते हैं. And that's where this secretive process was done. Now I think like I should carry one. But you should not carry, it should be a stray dog, you know. Now some people will start doing one thing, like they'll carry a biscuit with, when they're moving along with me, they will carry a biscuit packet, put it by their side, like, where is the dog? Where is the dog? They say, no, that does not work. A biscuit pulling a dog is not the Shuddhata of the Atman. It should come to you on its own. Now, how many of you have realized lately that certain kind of such energies are attracted towards you? Even without you trying, even without you doing anything. The moment you arrive, they just come to you. What is that indication? आप पूछते हो ना कि सच में मैं स्पिरिचुअली आगे बढ़ रहा हूं, देख लो. These are also indications for that. Because another thing that they feel is आप राग और द्वेष आपके अंदर कम हो चुका है, आपके अंदर का आवेश कम हो चुका है. Means the anger and the flaws has come down. So those animals feel comfortable, safe in your presence. They come to you. That itself indicates कि आपके अंदर ये सारे गुण, तमस जो गुण है, वो कम हो रहे हैं. Ultimately, what will happen? Even a tiger will be sitting by one side, and then buffalo will be sitting on the other side, a snake on your neck, and a rat just below, and a peacock sitting by your side, and you are still happy. No one is fighting with anyone. Perfect Shiva. Right? So I moved away from that space. So that's why they carry that dog. Okay. So now moving, we have understood this 12 kind of Tandavas of Shiva. Then comes the next from 12 to 32nd. As I said, these are all experiential steps of dance. It cannot be put in words. It can just be experienced. Might be, as I said, Haribhai, we'll try if people can actually gain access to that dance. For that, you have to dance physically actually. It cannot be just done by just, मैं नाच रहा हूं. नहीं, वो तो रोज नाच रहे हो. Now here, involvement of the physical dance is required. And when you dance in that physical form, when you reach to that 32nd step, beyond that, something will happen. The dancer will forget that it is dancing. It will become the dance. आपको याद भी नहीं रहेगा कि आप नाच रहे हो. And that step will take from the 32nd step to the 64th step. And by the time you reach the 64th step, the dancer vanishes. Neither there is the dancer, neither there is the dance. Everything just dissolves. Na nrityakar rahega, na nritya. All that will remain is absolute pure bliss. What do you say? Shall we? तो सुन के ही इतना अच्छा लग रहा है. So when you do, so one Haribhai should plan one thing where we just dance. That's it. No session on that day. Only dance. And the people, those who are very good at dance, will be, come on, let's do that. जिनको नृत्य नहीं करना है वो बोलेंगे. We will be the observer. Here, from this 12 to 32, there will be an observer. But from 32 to 64, the observer will disappear. Because in order to observe something, there should be two. But when there is no two, where is the observer now? There is no object, there is no subject. All merge as one. And that is again another way of transcending this realm of creation and merging into the divine through dance itself. We did a small little session on bhakti. And that day, we did it in Rishivai's house actually, yes. And that day, when I told them about the bhakti rasa and then I made them to dance, by the time they came out, no one was themselves. कोई अपने आप में नहीं था उस दिन. And anyways, Haribhai, you are arranging the things there out there, right? In the retreat. So these people are going to have a gala time. And the people, those who are not going, don't worry, you don't have to make long faces. We'll arrange something else in this place so that you people also experience the same thing. Now, what about the other people that cannot travel now? Don't worry, we will do it live. You also do the same thing that we do. We will pass on all the music that we'll be playing. So you also play that and start dancing in your home only. See, why should people here have all the fun? That's what Navneet says. I says, okay. Anyways, we have the technologies. Right. So that's about like When you experience that, that is going to be the experiential Tandavas that you will be happening. First and foremost thing, you will be introduced to those things. You will be knowing all that, how it is happening. And then you start dancing on that part. And then it just happens. Very, very simple way. No criticality is involved in that. And without even your knowledge, you will realize that how easily you transcend it. Okay. Don't give more trailers. So that was all about the 12 kind of Tandavas that Shiva does. Now coming to the Chidambara Rahasya. As I said, this entire temple has been consecrated in the form of a human. This particular temple is Chidambaram, the city of Chidambaram. It depicts the Brahma in the form of a body. It has a small lotus, which is the heart. Within that lotus, there is a space, a small space. And if you understand these three things, especially the Chidambara statues that you will see, there are three major statues available there. One is the Nataraja. The first image that you would see is the Nataraja image. The second that is available is the Spatikalingam. And the third, that is actually the Rahasyam, is called as the Vayulingam. It is a very typical thing. That Rahasyam is a very typical thing. I will elaborately talk about that. You see, in these three forms, one you see as the Nataraja, means pure form, absolutely just like you. उसका एक आकार है, means वो साकार रूप में available है. He is just looking like you. He has hands, legs, hair, and all those things that you see in the way Nataraja is. वो एक साकार रूप है. Then you see the Spatikalingam, जो कि आकार रूप है. It has a form, but not a definite form. If you look at the Shivalinga, can you say where it started and where it ends? No, you cannot find that, because that's what. वो एक आकार तो है, but वो साकार नहीं है. Means it does not have a definitive form where you can say, okay, the head started here and ends here. From where do you point that the Shivalinga started here and ended here? The point you put your hand, it might not be the right space. So एक हो गया आकार, जैसे एक साकार रूप में है, एक आकार रूप में है, और एक जो है वो निराकार रूप में है, because there is no statue. There is absolutely no statue there, but it is covered with a veil. एक पर्दा डाला हुआ है. वो पर्दा कभी कभी उठाया जाता है. And at times it just moves with the wind and people try to see what is there, what is there. कुछ नहीं दिखेगा. And the most amazing thing is that curtain has two colors to it. The one that you see is black. The one that is inside is red. It's a combination of black and red. Just like if you look at Chidvilas and Soumyaji sitting around there. It has two colors. What does the dark indicate? The dark indicates the ignorance, the veil of ignorance. The red indicates the veil of knowledge, because at times even knowledge becomes the veil. वो कहते हैं ना, ignorance से चलो, ना ही ये ego से चलो कि मुझे सब कुछ पता है. You throw that veil away. Then only you will see that there is nothing, but all that you are seeking is you. The Vayulingam. Or the. So now let me just tell a little bit more about that. There are different kind of sabhas and things that are there available. Where you see the Nataraja image, it is called as the Kanaka Sabha or the Chit Sabha. When you hear this name Chidambara, what does that name means? Chid means the true self. Ambara means space. The true knowledge of the space is Chidambara. What is space? Space you cannot depict as space. Can you define how space looks like? No, how other things look in space, you can tell about that. But how does space looks like? It does not have anything. Koi aakar nahi hai uska. So Chidambar means the true knowledge, acquiring the true knowledge beyond these limitations of this physicality, mentality, and this world, time and space. When you transcend beyond that, that space is called as the Chidambara, the space of the true divine. So, as I said, the Nataraja represents the Sakala state of Shiva. And this supreme, that Chitakasa Rahasyam, that you call as the enshrined, as the limitless space, it is the Nishkala state of Shiva. And the Spatikalinga is the Sakala Niskala state of Shiva. Means, ek hai Sakala, ek hai Sakala Niskala, and the other is the Nishkala. So these are the three forms. Means manifested, semi-manifested, unmanifested form. Okay. So when we are looking at this veil, which is just inside the same temple only, it is covered with that veil. When that veil is removed, all that you can see is a lining of golden Bilva Patras. Why these golden Bilva Patras are there? किसके ऊपर बिल्व पत्र चढ़ाया जाता है? शिव के ऊपर. So only thing that is depicted there is the Bilva Patras are there. It is just an indication that you cannot see the Shiva, but the Shiva is there. That's why the Bilva Patras are there. आपको शिव दिखाई नहीं दे रहा है, लेकिन शिव का स्वरूप उस रूप में है. And that's why the Bilva Patras are there. Just the indication that the Shiva is there. And that's why the Bilva Patras have been kept. And it has very, very typical aspects to that actually. So typical, like at times, उसको समझाना भी मुश्किल हो जाता है. But let me try. About the layout of this Chit Sabha is a really very interesting one. See, when you travel into that temple, it has 5 steps leading to the Chit Sabha. 5 steps. These 5 steps represent Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, Maheshwara, Sadashiva. Now, if you remember, if you see the Lalita Sundari Devi, she is sitting on a Pretasana. What is Pret? Pancha Mahabhutas are the 5 elements. Pancha Pretas are these divine beings. And the goddess sits on the Pancha Preta Asana. And here, if you are entering into the temple, it has also the 5 steps. And these 5 steps indicates the Pancha Preta. कौन-कौन हो गए पंच प्रेत यहाँ पे? Who are those? Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, Maheshwara, Sadashiva. The door that leads you into that, it is called as the illusion or the avarana. Avarana or the covering. Okay. This covering line now, Haribhai has brought the image. If you see this that is the image of all the things that the Devi is sitting on. इसे पंचप्रेत आसन कहते हैं. Okay, Brahma, Vishnu, and then you have the Rudra, Maheshwara, and Sadashiva. So these are the panchapretas on which the Devi is sitting. So there is a great secret to that also. Why in this form and all those things. वो tantra marg में जाएगा. So let us not enter into it right now. So ये हो गए. And the doorway that leads you into that temple is called as the avarana or the covering. And even there are indications about the 96 tattvas. 96 tattvas of creation and destruction. Pralay or Vilay or Rachna. ये तीनों का जो होता है, there are 96 elements that also takes the Prakriti, Vikriti. There are many things that are encarved there actually. And it has 96 windows depicting the 96 elements of creation and destruction. There are 4 golden pillars in the middle of the Chitsava. That indicates the 4 Vedas, means these things are holding the roof. These 4 pillars are the pillars of life. So it indicates the 4 Vedas. Then there are 28 wooden pillars around representing the 28 Shiva Agamas. शिव के जो आगमस हैं वो 28 आगमस हैं और ये 28 pillars of wooden pillars depict the 28 agamas of Shiva. And the space that area is comprised of is known as the Suddha Vidya or the Brahma Vidya, means the knowledge of the pure Atman. The space between the Chidambara Rahasyam and the icon of Nataraja, the statue of Nataraja, that particular place is called as the Pranava Pitha. It is like the transformation from the manifested to the semi-manifested to the unmanifested. And here you can only see the difference between these 3 with pure knowledge, and when you acquire that pure knowledge, you absolutely merge back into the space, the formless form of the divine. So there are hugely more things to be understood about this. But now, with this little idea that we have and the time that I have, let us enter into a Chidambara Rahasya process. एक प्रक्रिया करते हैं. It is a way of meditation. This meditation has means different kind of mantras accumulate together to make this one. And at the same time, when these are done in a particular fashion, एक तरीके से अगर इसको किया जाता है, so there are actually 7 steps to that. 7 तरीके के मंत्रों का इस्तेमाल किया जाता है. But here we will only take one mantra and do it. And that step we will call as the 255 steps or 255 padas, the steps of 255. So Haribhai, if you can bring an image of a star on the screen, if you can find one image of the star on the screen, I would like to first show you how it works Or else, Haribai, if you can just bring up your drawing tool so that you can draw when I ask you to draw another thing on that. You see, when you are sitting and meditating, जब आप धरती के ऊपर, जमीन के ऊपर बैठ के जैसे बैठते हो आप, you will see a very beautiful depiction right now. It is so amazing to see, and that's where we will be using this to do this 255 steps. Means we will be chanting one particular mantra for 255 times. So are we all ready? If possible, sit on the ground. If not possible, if you are just sitting there, you can just. Now, Haribai, if you look at this 5-pointed star, okay? So we all can see this 5-pointed star. So above each point, Haribai, you just write 51, 51, 51, 51, 51. That will make it as 255. So the up point here, that 51 is, that depicts the head. The two sides of the point depicts both your shoulders. And the last 2 points depict your knees. Are you understanding that? So you also become a 5-pointed star while doing a meditation. And we will be utilizing this 51 steps to make it as 255. Now, Haribai, one more typical thing that you can draw is from the tip of the 51, means the head part, the most pointed one. वहां से लेके down तक एक 8 draw करो. You just draw a 8 there. It will cross over, don't worry, just draw a 8. Yes. That is 1 8, right? If you can find the image also, Haribai, you can draw that. It would be easy also. No, it won't require that much also. If it can just contain it within the star also, it is fine. It will just depict the same thing. Yeah, you can take that. So this is 1 8. Okay, just make it a thinner one, Haribai, because we will cross it over so that it is easy to understand. Yeah, that would be good. Now, just elaborate it a little bit. थोड़ा बड़ा कर दो उसे. Make it a little bit long. अब थोड़ा ऊपर उठा दो उसे, just like that. और थोड़ा छोटा करो, because we will be crossing it over. Okay. Now draw another 8 like a sleeping 8 in the shoulder region. Right. What is it becoming? It in itself is becoming a yantra. Now, Haribai, we need 2 8s towards both legs. It will be slanting. One slanting this side, one slanting that side. Yes. What is it becoming? Where have you seen these symbols? Can you see from a star? When you change that star and create that 51 steps, you are sitting in a particular posture, you are doing a particular chanting, and that chanting, when the yantra, the Sri yantra and the star combine, it creates the rahasyam, the 255 steps of the rahasyam. And that's what we are going to do. And when you do that, we will start from the head, it will move to the left shoulder, then it will go to the knees of the left leg, then it will move to the right leg knee, then it will move to the right shoulder, again coming back to the head. It will create a complete circle of that 8. What is that 8? It's a continuous process of breath going and coming in, going out and coming in. You remember the second part of Vijnana Bhairava Tantra when you understood how that breath was working? So here we are going to do this japa and with the mantra. Now everybody just look at what is available on the screen, make it as an image, just engrave that image within you. मतलब उसको थोड़ी देर देखो so that it becomes a part of you. It gets imprinted in your memory for a moment. उसे बड़े ध्यान से खाली देखो थोड़े समय के लिए, without any sound, nothing, just look at it. Now while looking at it, I'll just say you something about a little bit about the Chidambara Rahasya. I said there is a veil, and when the veil is removed, the formless, the Chidambara, is said to continuously is dancing in bliss or doing the Ananda Tandava with the concert Shakti or energy. This form of Shiva's dance with Shakti or this energy is called as Shivagami. And this Shivagami is diagrammatically, means depicted in a geometrical structure representing by a yantra on the wall of an empty space. It is like two yantras coming together. One, a yantra, the other, the space. And when we are looking at this image that Haribhai has shown on the screen now, we have drawn through the eights, we have utilized to showcase the power of the Shakti or the representation of the chakra, which is where is it? It is on the star. The star, we can take it as the Pancha Pretas. I only said a little moment ago, right? That the Devi is sitting on Pancha Pretas. So what are you seeing here? So you see that the star indicates, if it indicates the Pancha Preta, on that the Devi ka jo yantra hai, wo bana hua hai. Now when you see all this yantra would be called a Shivagami yantra. It is not exactly how it is, but it is just a depiction for you people to understand. So is it not the combination of space and the Shakti of the Devi combining together to create this image? Now when you are sitting in meditation, what is exactly happening to you? Is it not the same? You are sitting, there is an energy within you, then you start chanting, it creates the aura around you, and that's how the Chidambara Rahasya Yantra is built in you. However, it has an elaborate way of doing that, and might be some other day I will help you with the entire process. Okay? So if only you are interested in doing that. Or else now everybody has the picture imprinted in their head with it. सबके मन के अंदर ये छवि बस चुकी है. Okay? Now, if possible, sit on the ground. If possible, keep your cameras on so that I am able to see you are doing it right. Yes, whenever you are sitting and doing a meditation, you should be sitting on a mat. Plain धरती के ऊपर मत बैठो. Okay? Sit on a mat. Face towards north or east. I will just type the one mantra that we will do, because there are 7 in that, but we will take a very easy one. All are easy anyways. Haribhai, if you can just type it, Om Namah Shivaya. Here it is not saying Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah. Namah nahi hai ye. Om Namah Shivaya. Or else let me type it so that it is Om Namah Shivaya. Yeah, it is not Namah. You see, Om Namah Shivaya के लिए मैंने कहा है कि Om use मत करो. But it is not Om Namah. Om Namah Shivaya. Okay. So the first word it has is Om Namah Shivaya. Then you write Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sadashivam. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sadashivam. Sadashivam. ऐसे DA H हटा सकते हैं आप उसमें. Sadashivam. Okay. So this is going to be the mantra that we will be chanting 255 times. What are we going to do exactly with that? 255 times? 51 times. You remember the star? 51 times your entire focus should be on the top of your head. आपके ब्रह्मरंध्र के ऊपर आपका ध्यान. While keeping your focus on the top of your head, you will chant this mantra. Om Namah Shivaya Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sadashivam. Om Namah Shivaya Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sadashivam. Om Namah Shivaya Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sadashivam. So this chanting will be done 51 times while the focus on the top of the head. Then the focus will come onto the left shoulder. It will move in a clockwise fashion. आपके clockwise fashion में move होगा. Then it goes to the left shoulder. माला की जरूरत नहीं है इसमें, नवनीत जी. We'll just keep a count manually. ठीक है? So left shoulder, again 51 chants of the same mantra. Then you move to the left knee, आपके घुटने के पास, because as you are sitting in a folded leg, so the focus will be on the left knee. And when you are looking at the left knee, the same mantra continues for 51 times. Then your focus goes to the right knee. And when the right knee focus goes, you chant 51 times. And the final 51 should be done on the right shoulder. So the head, left shoulder, left knee, right shoulder. This creates the star. Is it clear for everyone? सबको समझ में आ गया? पहला ध्यान आपके ब्रह्मरंध्र के ऊपर, दूसरा ध्यान आपके बाएं कंधे के ऊपर, तीसरा ध्यान आपके बाएं घुटने के ऊपर, चौथा ध्यान आपके दाएं घुटने के ऊपर और पांचवा ध्यान आपके दाएं कंधे के ऊपर. Now if anybody wants to take the lead to chant this mantra for everyone while keeping a count, it would be very, very appreciated. So who wants to do that? If you can please raise your hands, because it's a very simple mantra. There is no way you can make it wrong. Om Namah Shivaya Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sadashivam. Om Namah Shivaya Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sadashivam. So anybody wants to give me a break and do the chanting? Or you want me to do the 255 chantings also? So if anybody wants to do the chanting, please raise your hand. So I cannot see the hands raised yet. So everybody wants to just, or else I can do one thing. Siddhvilas is trying to raise his hand, but the screen is rotating. Okay. Alivaji is available. Okay, good. Then let me see. Okay. Kamlinder ji, Karthik. Okay, good. So all the things that you have to do is you have to keep the track of it as well, or else I'll keep the count. All the other people, you focus on your sadhana. The one who is chanting, just become a little bit conscious about the mantra. Now there are enormous benefits that you can notice just by doing this for 255 times. This only one mantra that we are doing. You will just observe how you are feeling within yourself right now. The weight of your body, the weight of your energy, the frequency that you are in. the body pain if you are having any discomfort in your body, any irritation, agitation, whatever it is there. वो चाहे मनस्थिति हो सकती है या तो शारीरिक स्थिति हो सकती है. It can be physical or mental state that you are in right now. You observe, when you complete this cycle of this mantra, you will absolutely notice a difference in that. So first and foremost thing that you have to do is focus what you are going through now. Then you start with the chanting of the mantra step by step, and when the mantra is completed, sit down and observe what has changed within you. आपके अंदर क्या बदल गया है. And if you are absolutely happy, blissful, without any pain or without any tension or without any question or query, you still do the process, you will feel more connected with that divinity. Okay. Haribhai, can you please help me with that, or anyone else, if you can want to tell it in Telugu for all the people so that it is easy. So whoever wants to do that, I'm okay with it. So Haribhai, can you please just help them with that? Where to focus, how to focus? So yes, please unmute and tell them. Yeah.
Yes, Manash. In Telugu, ఇక్కడ మనం చేయాల్సింది ఏంటంటే ఈ మంత్రంతో ఫస్ట్ ఫోకస్ చేయాల్సింది మన హెడ్ పార్ట్ లో 51 టైమ్స్ ఓం నమ శివాయ హర హర శివ శివ సదాశివం. ఇది మనము 51 టైమ్స్ 51 సార్లు మనము ధ్యానం చేయాలి. దాని తర్వాత లెఫ్ట్ సైడ్ షోల్డర్ అంటే లెఫ్ట్ భుజం ఎడమ వైపు భుజాన ఫోకస్ చేయాలి. ఇక్కడ 51 టైమ్స్ చెప్పాలి. దాని తర్వాత మోకాలు లెఫ్ట్ సైడ్ ఎడమ పక్కన మోకాలు మీద 51 టైమ్స్. దాని తర్వాత రైట్ సైడ్ మోకాలు 51 టైమ్స్. దాని తర్వాత రైట్ సైడ్ షోల్డర్ రైట్ సైడ్ భుజం మీద 51 టైమ్స్. ఇలా మనము మొత్తం టోటల్ గా ఫస్ట్ హెడ్, తర్వాత లెఫ్ట్ భుజము, తర్వాత మోకాలు లెఫ్ట్, తర్వాత రైట్ మోకాలు, తర్వాత రైట్ భుజము. ఇలా మనం ఈ సర్కిల్ కంప్లీట్ చేయాలన్నమాట. Yes.
Okay. So thank you, Haribhai, for that.
Yeah.
And also tell that if they want to focus, like if physically there is any pain or trouble, if mentally there is pain or trouble, they can just work on that and they will see the difference by the time we complete it.
ఏదైనా శరీరంలో ఏదైనా బాధ ఉన్నా, ఏదైనా పార్ట్ లో ప్రాబ్లం ఉన్నా, లేకుంటే మానసిక ఒత్తిడి ఉన్నా, మీరు దాని మీద ఫోకస్ చేయండి. మంత్రం చెప్తూ మానసిక బాధ, ఏదైనా శరీరంలో ఏదైనా బాధ,
they just have to focus once, Haribhai, just to realize that after completing that, what is the change. They should not be focusing on that part while doing the chanting. They just want to just to see the difference.
అయితే మీరు ఈ ప్రాసెస్ స్టార్ట్ చేసే ముందు ఫస్ట్ అబ్జర్వ్ చేయండి. ఈ మన శరీరంలో ఏ పార్ట్ మీద అయితే ప్రాబ్లం ఉందో దాని మీద ఒక్కసారి ఫోకస్ చేసి, దాని తర్వాత అవసరం లేదు, దాని తర్వాత ఆ బాధ ఎలా ఉంది అంటే దాని మీద ఏమైనా చేంజ్ వచ్చిందా, మానసిక ఒత్తిడిలో చేంజ్ వచ్చిందా అనేది ఈ ప్రాసెస్ తర్వాత గమనించండి. కానీ ఏదైతే ప్రాసెస్ చేస్తున్నో ఆ టైంలో మీరు ఆలోచించనక్కర్లేదు. జస్ట్ ప్రాసెస్ కి ముందు ఫస్ట్ చూడండి ఎలా ఉంది మీ మానసిక ఒత్తిడి కానీ, శరీరంలో బాధ కానీ ఎలా ఉంది, ఎక్కడ బాధగా ఉంది అనేది ఫస్ట్ ఒక్కసారి అబ్జర్వ్ చేసి దాని తర్వాత ప్రాసెస్ స్టార్ట్ చేయండి. ప్రాసెస్ ఎండ్ అయిన తర్వాత ఆ పర్టికులర్ ప్రాబ్లం కానీ, ఆ మానసిక ఒత్తిడి కానీ దాంట్లో ఏమైనా చేంజ్ వచ్చిందా లేదా అని అబ్జర్వ్ చేయండి.
Okay, thank you. So let us all close our eyes for a moment and just focus and observe if there is any irritation, agitation, whether it is mental, spiritual, or at a physical level. Just observe that. Once you just observe it and leave it. And now we'll start focusing on the top of the head. Brahmarandra ke upar pura dhyan leke jaye and the chanting will begin. Om Namah Shivaya Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sadashivam. So we have to unmute Aliva ji. Yeah.
Har Har Mahadev.
Har Har Mahadev. So now all the people, those who are sitting on the floor, as I said, keep your spine erect, neck and good alignment of the head with the neck. सीधा जैसे आप ध्यान में बैठते हो उसी तरह प्रकार से बैठ जाओ. As I said, focusing or sort of facing towards the east or the northeast or the north side, you can focus. आपका चेहरे का ध्यान उस तरफ. And now you can chant it outside, you can chant it within, no problem, because it is a very simple mantra. If you want to do it at a very madhyama process, means very slowly you want to chant so that you are able to hear it and you are chanting it. That is enough. You don't have to make it a loud noise kind of thing. That's also fine. Okay. So, Alivaji, if we are ready. So if you can keep a count, or shall I keep a count and tell you like it is done? And I need few more people, because at least 5 people are needed to do the chanting. So I have Alivaji is there, Deepika ji is there, Kartikeya is there. So 3 are already there. So 2 more people if they can volunteer. Okay, Amarji, thank you. And Chidvilas, thank you. So I got 5. So we'll go in the sequence. Alivaji, you start, then Deepika ji will take over, then Kartik, then Amarji, then Chidvilas or Soumya ji, whomever wants to do the chanting. Okay. So thank you for that help. So Alivaji, all the other people, please close your eyes. Focus on the top of your head. जो आपका ब्रह्मरंध्र जो है उसके ऊपर focus कर लीजिए. If you just want to create an impact on that, just tap 7 times on that Brahmarandra area. Just tap it slowly, just tap it so that you know where to focus and where to start. Okay, just 7 बार उसे tap कर दीजिए. So you know that this is the place where the focus should begin. Okay. So now, Alivaji, please start.
Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam.
Thank you, Alivaji. Now, by just doing this at the 51 count, you know what is happening in your head. So now go to the left shoulder. Deepika ji, if you can unmute yourself and start the chanting. Now the focus.
Om Namah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam.
Thank you, Deepika ji. Kartikeya. Now to the left knee. Focus on the left knee. Yeah, Kartik, please go ahead.
Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shivam. Om Namah Shivaya. हर हर शिव शिव सदाशिवम ओम नमः शिवाय 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 हर हर शिव शिव सदाशिवम.
Thank you. Amarji, can you please unmute and now focus on the right knee.
Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva. Can you repeat one more?
Yeah, it is on the screen. If you can see that. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva.
Sorry. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Sada Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. हर हर शिव शिव सदाशिवम ओम नमः शिवाय। 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 हर हर शिव शिव सदाशिवम।
Now the final one, Sidvilas, to the right shoulder. You can just unmute, yeah.
ओम नमः शिवाय हर हर शिव शिव सदाशिव। 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 ओम नमः शिवाय हर हर शिव शिव सदाशिवम। 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 ओम नमः शिवाय हर हर शिव शिव सदाशिवम।
Thank you, Chidvilas. So just keep there with your eyes closed for a moment, and now just focus on the points that you chanted the mantra with and observe your body. कुछ समय के लिए वैसे ही ध्यान में बैठे रहें और सिर्फ उस स्थान के ऊपर फोकस करें जहां पे आपने चैंटिंग की, as if that yantra that was shown has been built on you, and now just focus how it is vibrating in you. Now just take a deep breath and slowly exhale it through the mouth. And if you want, you can rub your hands, put it on your face and open your eyes. A regular process. Now with this, you must have realized why this is called as the king of these kind of meditations, right? And this is just one step. There are 7 steps to it with additional mantras. So it's all silent all around, right? Okay, so now if anybody has anything to say about this, now you can raise your hand and talk, because with this, we are closing this session for this day because time is already here. But I believe like you came to know certain things today, and yes, of course, we will do this again and with more things coming up. See, that's why it is called as that linga itself is a space, right? And did you realize you started focusing first? I said just focus on your entire body, means the form that you are in. Then you started focusing on the mantra. It has a form, but it is still formless. And what you are experiencing is absolute formless. Is it the steps that you followed? And this is just one. So now if anybody has to say anything, you can say that. If you want to share something. Chidambaram Harivaya, I said no? Chid and Ambar, the true knowledge of the space. So, because the true knowledge of the space cannot be spoken about, but it can be experienced. Just now what you are experiencing is exactly that, right? And you saw how beautifully that geometrical pattern got created, and that space is still vibrating. I saw it, that there is a space as a lotus in that heart, in that temple. Yes. It would be very typical way of just by 255, we just said a very simple mantra. As we have been transcended to another space, right? It's not the same place where we are sitting. Now, how many of you really were able to see the difference that could happen at a physical level and a mental level? And even the space that you are sitting is so vibrant and so clear. So let's do the complete process someday then. And Haribhai, this is going to be part of the retreat. And for all the people, don't worry. Anyways, we will do it online as well for the entire process. The only difference would be like sitting there together and doing that. वो एक अलग चीज होता है. And all the other things we can still manage. You see, we are still sitting at separate places. We can experience that. Okay. So I'll elaborately tell you why we chant it this many times. What is the rahasya between, like, what is the secret why these are chanted these many times? What kind of mantra should be chanted how many times? It will take nothing less than an hour or so, but it would be worth. Okay. Okay. So I am done. So if anybody has anything to say or share, it is up to you now. And with that, we will close it. So Nutanji, how did you found it today? Okay, so you have to unmute, right? Okay, unmute. So just think of just chanting this mantra, not for 255 times, but throughout the day, you sit half of the day and just chant this mantra, nothing else. You'll go crazy.
నమస్తే అండి. నాకు ప్రాక్టీస్ లేక ఏమో నాకు కాన్సన్ట్రేషన్ వీటి మీద పెట్టలేక ఆటోమేటిక్ గా నిన్న అనుకోకుండా నేను త్రిపురాంతకం వెళ్ళి స్వామివారిని చూశాను. ఆయన మీద మారేడు దళాలు వేస్తున్నట్టుగా ప్రతి మంత్రము ఊహించుకుంటూ ఉన్నాను. అంటే ఊహించుకోవడం ఆటోమేటిక్ గా అలా జరుగుతుంది. అది ఒకటే, అందుకని నాకు చేతగా లేదు కాన్సన్ట్రేట్ చేసుకోవడం ఇలా బాడీ మీద. అదే అండి.
So Nutanji, that reference point was just given for the people so that they know where to focus. But once you chant the mantra, your focus you don't know when you actually vanish. You will not be able to focus. The mantra is just going on and then you say, ho gaya kya? Like it is completed 51 itna jaldi? That would be a pure real-time experience. So that's how I said, no, the dancer will also vanish. The dance will not be there. And how many times within this 51 seconds, you said like, how come it completed so fast? It is the count that the people kept. उन्हीं को पता है कि उन्होंने 51 times किया है. Anybody did less than 51 when your chance was there to chant? No, right? You did counted 51 and you did that. But for the people, those who were sitting and just experiencing it, for a moment they were out and then connected back when the mantra stopped. And then you're thinking, itna jaldi kaise ho sakta hai? And that's how it is. So Kamlender ji, thank you Nutan ji. Kamlender ji, what you have to say?
प्रणाम गुरुदेव.
प्रणाम.
गुरुदेव ये तो पूरा एक यंत्र बन गया था यहाँ पे.
That's what it is exactly has to happen. इसीलिए आपको पहले बताया ना कि this is how it will create it.
Yeah, it was like that only. और पूरा का पूरा यहाँ यंत्र बन गया था and it was some distance from my body. तो फिर बाद में एहसास नहीं रहा. यहाँ पूरा एक यंत्र बन गया था. हार्ट चक्र के बिल्कुल सामने.
That's how like वही that I depicted before that, no? अगर वो बताता नहीं ना, so you might not be able to have a reference point कि ये क्या हो रहा है. That's the only thing. It's not to add a imagination to you. Just a reference point kind of thing. I drew that entire diagram out there. And Haribhai is a master in doing that anyways. इतना अच्छा बना के दिखा दिया, मतलब I was thinking how to actually put that in.
बट इट वाज वेरी डिफिकल्ट कि कहीं पे किसी भी लोकेशन पे फोकस कर पाना बाद में. यहाँ पे सहस्त्रार्थ पे तो हो पाया, उसके बाद में तो वो सिर्फ है ना घूम के यहीं आ जाता था बार बार.
That's the magic of it, right?
Yeah.
That is the secret. You are focusing somewhere, but it is taking you away somewhere else. आवरण के पार लेके चला जा रहा है. You think like this body is the reference point, but once you start chanting, that process takes you beyond it, beyond your mind, beyond your thought, beyond your body.
बिल्कुल.
Can you see how? अब सुमा जी बोल रहे कि आज्ञा चक्र. See, very typically it will activate many things within you. Just 255 times chanting. लोग बोल रहे हम लोग 1.5 लाख का जाप कर लिए, उसमें नहीं हुआ, इतने कैसे हो सकता है? See, every step, what you have done is a preparation. These are the manifestation of your preparation. यही चीज किसी स्कूल के बच्चे को कराओ, that the people, those who have never meditated, they won't have the same kind of experience that you have.
बिल्कुल.
That is what I call as the preparation of your steps. That you have done it, and now that's how you're experiencing it.
बहुत बढ़िया रहा.
Can you see the moment you again stop speaking, it's like, I'm there.
Yes.
Still there kind of thing.
धन्यवाद.
Thank you, Kamlendra ji. And you know from where this thing manifested actually?
Yeah.
This particular process that I'm talking about, somebody has been behind me for a long time. Ki, why don't you speak about this? Why don't you speak about this? Why don't you speak about this? I have been followed up at least 5 or 6 times by now. Why don't you speak about the Chidambaram Rahasya, Chidambaram? I said, let the right time come, let the people be ready to do this process, and now it happened, you see. So thank you, Kamlendra ji, and surely we will do the complete process of that. If you people are ready, if you are interested in doing this process, and surely there are a few questions that I will take up. People have typed it, or else I request, if you have a question, you raise your hand, it would be easy for me. Okay, because the messages are running up. I am not able to see all the messages. Thank you, Kamlendra ji. Dhanyavad. So who is going to speak now? Chidvilas or Soumya ji?
Yeah, Chidvilas, please unmute yourself.
दोनों वो बोला ना हरि भाई, देख लो आवरण पहन के बैठे दोनों. The black and red combination.
I could experience the star in my body, and my body it has become very light. I could experience different types of energies. It was great energy. And I could, in my right knee, it was paining. Now it has vanished.
So thank you. Now, did you realize few weeks ago I made you do 1 star, Bhu Taraka Chakra? That was the starting of it actually. So you were being prepared then, and you are doing it now. Okay. So you don't even know what is coming, and you don't know what you are being prepared today to achieve what. Okay. So thank you, Soumya ji.
Thank you so much. Dhaval ji, please admit.
Pranam.
Pranam, Dhaval ji.
So while it has went towards the left hand, right hand, I felt it really so much lightness and calmness, and I think a lot of release has been felt. And when I took it towards the right shoulder, I felt little bit heaviness there. And then at the end, I feel like it has to go continue. Why we stopped? Couldn't feel like opening my eyes. I was
That's everybody asking the same thing. Why did you stop? No, because the 255 step process has been completed. That's it.
And I really thank you, Hariji, and the person who is emphasizing for doing it.
Oh, I'm really blessed to.
उनको धन्यवाद पहुंच जाए, उन्हीं के वजह से लोगों को एक्सपीरियंस हुआ।
प्रणाम।
चलो, धन्यवाद धन्यवाद धवल जी।
थैंक यू धवल जी। सुधा जी प्लीज अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ।
प्रणाम गुरुदेव।
प्रणाम।
मेरा एक छोटा सा क्वेश्चन भी है।
हाँ जी, पूछ लीजिए।
सब कुछ बहुत अच्छा था, मुझे यंत्र बनता दिख रहा था, सब कुछ ठीक है, बॉडी वाइब्रेट कर रही थी, लेकिन जो आपने बताया, सबसे पहले ही बताया था आनंद तांडव, ठीक है, वो जो अंदर से जो खुशी महसूस होती है ना, मुझे समझ में नहीं आता। जैसी कोई चीज शुरू होती है, मेरे आंसू क्यों टपकने लगती है, वो क्यों नहीं मुझे महसूस होती है।
वही तो
जो
है लय विलय।
जो अंदर वाला आनंद है वो क्यों नहीं आता है।
क्रिएशन एंड डिस्ट्रक्शन। चलो
समझ
कोई
नहीं
नहीं, आपका अगर ये एक कंप्लेन है वो भी दूर हो जाएगा, डोंट वरी।
कंप्लेंट नहीं, मैं इसके बारे में समझना चाहती हूँ गुरुदेव। कंप्लेंट नहीं है ये
ओके।
कि मेरे साथ ऐसा क्यों होता है।
क्योंकि शिव स्वतंत्र है, वो कुछ भी कर सकता है।
तो हमारा शिव हमेशा यही करता है, मुझे आंसू टपकाने के लिए भी बस करता है बस।
तो उसकी मर्जी ना, वो रुद्र बन के आपके साथ बैठना चाहता है तो रुद्र है। व्हाट इज नॉट शिवा। मैंने वही कहा था ना सुधा जी, लाइक इन द स्टार्टिंग, you just see how it is doing the Tandava even through your thoughts. You just see, like, even that if I see my tears as his tears now, then it would be another dimension. आप बता नहीं पाओगे क्या होगा आपको।
नहीं, इतने दिन हो गए गुरुदेव, 2 साल लगभग हो गए, लेकिन ये क्वेश्चन अभी भी क्यों आता है मुझे कि मैं सब कुछ ठीक कर रही हूँ क्या। आना नहीं चाहिए ये अब। हाँ,
Let the mind play its games. आपको क्या लगता है? Apart from the question,
मैं
apart
ठीक
from
कर रही।
query, apart from that worriness और जो भी आप, वो we can give a lot of name to that. But apart from that, आपको कैसा लग रहा है ये बताओ।
मुझे तो अच्छा लग रहा है।
सही
इवन
कर
ना,
रहे हो।
इसके बाद हमारा बॉडी पेन, मेरे शरीर में बहुत दर्द है, पता नहीं क्यों है। होती है, लेकिन मुझे इस टाइम बिल्कुल रिलैक्स लग रहा है, बिल्कुल नॉर्मल जैसा। कुछ ऐसा नहीं लग रहा है कि कहीं कोई पेन है, क्या है।
That's what it does. इसीलिए उसे राजा कहते हैं इसमें। So,
मैं आपसे पूछ इसलिए रही हूँ कि
नहीं, you should ask, why not?
पूछ इसलिए रही हूँ मतलब कि हर बार यही क्यों होता है, मुझे ये समझ में नहीं आता है। कोई एक टाइम तो ऐसा आया कि नहीं, जब कि केवल मुझे खुशी महसूस हो, तो कभी कोई टाइम ऐसा तो आए, लेकिन कभी नहीं ऐसा होता है।
चलो कोई नहीं, देखेंगे हम भी। वो मैंने एक लाइन लिखा था ना सुधा जी की, अब तो मैंने वो इंतजार का शब्द मिटा दिया है अपने जहन से, क्योंकि इंतजार तो उसका होता है जिसके आने या ना आने में कोई सवाल हो। तो ये तो आएगा। You come in any way. Are you able to accept it in any form? Oh, it might be in my tears, it might be in my happiness. उसे accept कर लो एक बार, and then you see आनंद अपने आप अंदर से आने लगेगा. That bliss will appear.
वो एक्सेप्टेंस कैसे आए, मेरी तो समझ में नहीं आता है। कैसे है?
I don't have issues even while crying. My expression of happiness is through tears. Now tell me, if my expression is through tears, and it's not something I'm doing it, when I just connect to that, I just cry. That calling, that pulling, that must be very, very strong then. मीन्स एक ही चीज चलता है, इतनी देर क्यों हो गई? Why it took so long? That brings the tears. Why is this delay? Why is this distance is what creates the tears? But हम उसे भी स्वीकार कर लेते हैं. I also accept that if this is the way you want to manifest, this is the way you want to call, this is the way you want to be, this is the way, a very favorite word of mine, this is the way you want to play. And no one can play like you. I accept that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sudhaji. Thank you so much. But how many of you realized that you don't remember anything apart from what you experienced at the end? I talked about for 2 hours before that. But no one remembers anything about that. All that you remember is the experience right now. You know why? This is what is said to transcend beyond your intelligence, intellect, knowing, knowledge, wisdom. Even you transcend that. आप उसके परे चले जाओगे तब ये सारे चीजों के बारे में ध्यान भी नहीं रहेगा आपको. Or else, if it would have been another day without this process, you would have been discussed. तांडव कितने तरीके के, हाँ ये हुआ होगा. I should not be that crawling snake on the ground, eating dust and spitting poison. You should have been talking about that. But you see, this is experience that takes you beyond all the knowledge of this world. Knowledge is good. Mind को अच्छा है. अब से जब देखेगा, it will start interpreting it in that way. But can you saw? Did you realize you transcended the mind and now you're only speaking about the experience that was beyond your mind? The space that you hit. May you realize that is how it transcended. Again, you say, we started talking about the Nataraja. Then we talked about the Chidambara. Then you experience the secret. Form, semi-form, formless. And now all that you remember is just the formless state. Because all other change, this does not. So may you all be completely stabilized in that space. Thanking to you everyone for being here, to listening this and doing this process. Yes, you can do it at your own also, whenever you want. The same simple mantra, you can do it, you can chant it. If you really want to get into that, you can do that, up to you. And special thanks to the person who has said not to tell their name, but forced, actually, literally, I was pushed to do this process. So thank you for that. So there are many more things coming up in that. But as I said, we will do a complete session on that. Okay, so that would be, once we complete that cycle, you will also come to realize that, wow, this is something I have been experiencing for the first time. So thank you everyone for your time, your efforts, for choosing not to be a crawling snake, but a ornament on the neck of Shiva. Not spitting poison anymore, but yet speaking out the truth of reality. May you all experience that divine Chidambara within you, the true space. Aham Brahmasmi Tattvamasi.